This is a pretty good time to bring in Larry Kudlow, top economic guy at the White House. Larry, welcome back to the program. Always good to see you. I want to start with the possibility of a fourth rescue package. Do you think we need one now?
Well, look, I think we're going to be looking at one. Just to review, President Trump's leadership, we basically put in about $9 trillion worth of assistance, roughly $3 trillion on the budget side and the remainder on the Federal Reserve side. As much liquidity, as much cash, as much help as we possibly can to deal with the shutdown from the pandemic. So I think the economy is going to suffer through very bad numbers. We saw some of it today. Going to be worse in the second quarter. The unemployment rate's going to go up. It's a very serious matter. There's a lot of hardship there. Now, we are doing the best we can. As you know, we've talked about this. This payroll protection program, we've launched phase 2. The numbers are gigantic. We've already saved about 30 million jobs, according to calculations. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin believes we'll save another 30 million jobs. We put out so far $81 billion worth of assistance. Those are big numbers. I just say that because we put in the liquidity to try to help people get through this whole period. And as the president said yesterday, Stu, I think the worst of the pandemic is over. We have our phases, our guideline phases, 1, 2, and 3. You went through some of the best practices. I couldn't agree more, absolutely. And the point is, I think folks are getting ready not only to reopen the economy, but to go back to work, okay? I think that's the key. The spirit is there. We're seeing it and hearing it from the governors and the mayors. We had a meeting of small business people, wonderful meeting yesterday that the president led, Ivanka Trump led. Mnuchin and I were also there. Now, look, on your question, do we need another stimulus package? I think the second half of this year is going to grow, big snapback, 17, 20%. Congressional Budget Office is saying that, private forecasters, Wall Street Journal. I think it's important, though, for new policy measures that will create incentives to grow in the medium and longer term, okay? Things like payroll tax holiday, things like middle-class tax relief, things like small business regulatory relief, things like infrastructure, things like liability protection so we can get these businesses open and have some confidence. I think we need to look at a longer-term perspective which will give confidence to people. You know, incentives matter. It's got to pay more to work, to invest, to run a business. I think that's where the emphasis should be. I think the liquidity and cash phase is coming to an end. I mean, it's going to play out for the next month or two, what's already been legislated through 4 phases. Now I'd like to see a more incentive-minded approach that'll get this economy roaring. We'll come out of the chute in the second half and go right into 2021 with a very positive rebound.
But there's a political element to this, isn't there? I know you're unwilling to discuss politics, but there is a political element here. And the political element is, if President Trump does not win re-election, you will have Joe Biden as the new president, and he favors tax increases. And I don't think he favors the kind of measures that you've just been talking about. So what you're saying at a rip-roaring second half of the year and into next year, doesn't that depend on a Trump victory?
Well, I think it does in part. That's exactly right. I mean, I think it would be extremely unwise and probably prolong recessions and slumps if we start going on a regulatory binge, if we close down the fossil fuel industry, if we start raising taxes across the board. What we want to do is incentivize the animal spirits, okay? We want to say, you take a rip at the ball. We believe success should be rewarded, not punished. This is not about class warfare. This is about business investment, capital formation, entrepreneurship, helping folks keeping their jobs and getting pay raises. I mean, for example, a payroll tax holiday will increase employee wages after tax by 7.625%, if I have that number exactly right. That's the kind of thing we want. We want people to have more after-tax gains. Both sides. There's no time for class warfare. This is no time to destroy the energy economy, which has already suffered from prices, but they will come back too as soon as these economies come back. We just have to say to people, the things we used in the first several years of the Trump administration, I guess I'm being partisan here, but on policy grounds, this is consistent with my lifelong philosophy. On policy grounds, as long as it pays to work, invest, save, take risks, start new businesses, don't let the insurance problems, liabilities get in the way, remove regulations where possible. The 3 years we had growing, you know, Stu, this year was going to be 3% in the first quarter before the pandemic hit. So, no, I think that from what I gather, the other side of the aisle would punish the economy. We want to resurrect and rebuild and essentially pick up where we left off before the pandemic.
Totally different subject, but early this morning we got some, what I think is pretty good news from Gilead Sciences. Their treatment for the virus, Remdesivir, was shown to be positive results in 3 different tests. Is that a positive for the recovery of the economy?
Has to be a tremendous positive. And incidentally, first of all, it's a great company, and I hope those reports pan out. It's very important. Not only will it deal with the problems of the virus, you know, and sick people and protect in the long run, but also you've got these private sector companies. We've been meeting with them here at the White House on a constant basis. Mike Pence has done such a great job running the health task force. President Trump has push them, you know, go, go, go. We've used the private sector. This has been a partnership between the administration and the smartest people in the private sector. They're also developing therapies, right, and medicines, vaccines. You said Gilead. I read a story this morning, some great stuff coming out of Oxford University in Great Britain and so forth. These are confidence-inspiring things that'll help open the economy and get folks back to work. And when they do work, we want to make sure that their success is rewarded.
Right around 8:30 this morning, precisely at 8:30 actually, Eastern Time, we got these GDP numbers, and they're just awful. And everybody knows that they're going to be even worse for the second quarter. Got that. It's bad. Can you explain to our viewers, because I was getting a lot of emails and questions, how come the economy looks so bad and yet the stock market is roaring ahead? Now, not all of our viewers are sophisticated investors, but they want that question answered. How is it that you've got a rotten economy and a soaring stock market at the same time?
Well, I think, look, to a large extent, Stu, the sinking economy, and you're right, it's going to sink further. The contraction in the second quarter is going to be much deeper than the first quarter. The unemployment rate is going to go up quite a bit. However, I think people are looking ahead. That's a very key point. First of all, I think these rescue packages that the president has led and bipartisan support in the Congress, those packages are going to have some effect, some positive effect in stabilizing the situation. They are not a cure-all. When you shut down an economy, you shut things down. But they are helpful. That's point number one. Point number two, the curve on the virus in terms of new contacts, new infection rates, mortality rates, that curve is flattening, and we're seeing a slowdown. And I think pretty soon there'll be a downward adjustment. You know, we need a downward adjustment inside 14 days as phase one to begin the opening. And the transition, I think, will be in May, maybe into early June. I think people look at that and they say, you know what, things are going to get better. This is a temporary problem. It is not going to go on for years. One little interesting nugget. In the Consumer Confidence Survey yesterday, confidence level dropped sharply. Okay, no question. But when you go down the list of items that they discussed, expectations for the next 6 months for jobs, Stu, for jobs, shot straight up, almost a record increase. Now, that suggests to me, and it's just one little morsel, it's not a whole complete story, that folks are beginning to look over the valley and they see that as progress has been made, as the health and safety and security steps taken by our healthcare scientists and the administration, and with the help of the governors, with the help of private industry. As progress is being made, it's going to get better. And this will prove to be temporary. And by 6 months, let's say the second half of the year, the autumn, things will get better. I was just interested in that little nugget in the consumer confidence package.
All right, thanks for sharing it with us. Larry Kudlow, always a pleasure to have you on the program. Don't be a stranger. Come back soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Stu. Appreciate it.
Thank you.